There is abundant evidence to assert that, despite the UK government's investment in software, it still falls short of being fit for purpose. The admission by a minister that the civil service is out of touch with reality and lacks necessary skills in Whitehall reflects a systemic issue. This acknowledgement is underscored by a series of repeated blunders, botched IT projects. In the face of critical challenges confronting the country, the civil service has been criticized as protective, incompetent, and intellectually sclerotic. High-quality statistics form the bedrock upon which economic policy is constructed, influencing decisions like setting interest rates and addressing inflation. The integrity of this data is paramount, as inaccuracies can have far-reaching consequences for everyone. In the age of big data, critiques emphasize that the current state of UK statistics gathering is often considered Neolithic, underscoring the urgent call for modernization and accuracy in data collection processes. The issue of fraud takes center stage, with the UK government making efforts to establish a platform for fraud victims to present their cases. However, the magnitude of the problem is staggering, with the total cost of fraud reaching £219 billion. Unfortunately, the government's attempt to address this through the fraud reporting platform, action fraud, collapsed due to its lack of fitness for purpose. The pervasive nature of fraud is evident in its characterization as everybody's problem but nobody's priority. The dimensions of fraud extend to encompass tax evasion avoidance, fraudulent enrichment, unexplained wealth, and the non-payment of COVID-19 loans, revealing the complex challenges that must be confronted in tackling this multifaceted issue.
Is no doubt that the problem of global tax avoidance generally is a huge problem. It's been brought up in G7 meetings, it's been brought up in G20.
The amount of tax uncollected is £32 billion, isn't it?
That's correct. Our estimate of the tax gap in the UK from all taxpayers, including large businesses, is £32 billion, and that's why, in addition to all the work that we're doing, we're recruiting more tax inspectors and trying to collect more and more of that tax.
But isn't part of it?
There is unanimous agreement regarding the existence of billions in unpaid taxes, yet the current location of these missing funds remains unknown. Adding to the mystery is the fact that the UK tax gap has surged to £400 billion, and despite this, there are no initiatives in place to address or reduce it. Furthermore, new taxes continue to be levied.
Belloc staff is too long.
They're digging in the wrong place.
Given the critical importance of the financial sector to the UK's economy, the issue of money laundering, especially high-end money laundering involving large amounts of illicit funds through financial and professional services sectors, poses a significant threat to the country's national security and prosperity. Such activities not only undermine the integrity of the UK's financial system but also have the potential to tarnish its international reputation. As a response, there is a focused commitment to addressing illicit finances stemming from criminal activity, both domestically and internationally. The UK government designated commercial banks to distribute funds through grants and loans to the working population, with the assurance of non-payment being guaranteed by the government. Unfortunately, Companies House faced challenges due to inadequate data management practices, making it difficult to conduct thorough due diligence checks. This vulnerability in the system was exploited, and there is evidence to suggest that companies receiving COVID-19 loans intentionally proceeded to liquidation, effectively preventing any legal action except through insolvency proceedings. The banker's role has undergone a significant shift from providing financial assistance to facilitating recovery, particularly in the aftermath of the alleged $4.9 billion fraud. Notably, substantial sums, amounting to $70 billion in furlough schemes and $47 billion in bounce-back loans, were dispersed. The scale of this financial activity has led to repercussions, as evidenced by Lord Agnew of Alton resigning from his position as the counter-fraud minister in response to the debacle. Companies House is intended to be a crucial component of the information infrastructure supporting the business environment. Unfortunately, its current state is dysfunctional, and others cannot adequately compensate for its shortcomings. It is evident that, presently, Companies House serves as a significant facilitator of fraud. This situation is likely to persist unless the data deposited becomes accurate, making it fit for its intended purpose, and is subject to effective policing. The Insolvency Service, an executive agency of the Department for Business, Energy, and Industrial Strategy, plays a critical role in handling compulsory company liquidations and personal bankruptcies. Additionally, it addresses misconduct through investigations conducted by private licensed insolvency practitioners operating under the regulation of the Insolvency Act of 1986. Despite the significant impact of company liquidations and the potential for adverse press coverage, this major activity remains inadequately policed, highlighting a persistent issue in the regulatory oversight of such proceedings. There is substantial evidence indicating that the administration of the UK government through the civil service is currently in a state of complete chaos, with little prospect of a near-future remedy. Persistent issues such as frequent data failures, instances of fraud and errors, the non-collection of due taxes, uncontrolled immigration, administrative delays, shortcomings in the UK court system, protracted delays in the land registry and probate processes, and a lack of discipline, further exacerbated by individuals being in roles ill-suited to their capabilities, collectively contribute to the overall dysfunction of the government's operations.
Just one question from me. Put foreign offenders aside and Albanians aside, just forget about those numbers. How many people travelling on small boats that's been refused asylum have been sent to a third country or back to their own country over the past 3 years?
I don't think we have. I
think we'll write to the committee with those numbers, Mr. Anderson.
That's staggering.
Do we have any figures about anything?
Yes.
In the last 6 months, just how many in the last 6 months? People who are coming here who are being refused asylum, because I'm sure there's a few. How many was sent back last month?
Incoming.
We'll write to you with those numbers, Mr. Anderson.
I'm sorry, Chair, but I find it absolutely staggering.
The UK government has acknowledged the potential opportunities presented by supercomputing and artificial intelligence to drive productivity and economic growth. In a proactive move, the government has allocated £100 million for an expert task force aimed at assisting the UK in building and adopting the next generation of safe AI. Despite these initiatives, several significant concerns persist, with a primary focus on the state of public datasets, which have been likened to unrefined or rather than sparkling treasure. The critical missing element is a repository of clean, regularly updated data sets that are both technically and legally accessible, ensuring ease of use for algorithm users. Addressing these concerns is crucial for maximizing the benefits of AI advancements in the UK. Defining the problem often proves to be a straightforward task, while discovering viable solutions is a far more challenging endeavor. Following 8 years of dedicated research and development, Andromeda's concept to diminish the tax gap and introduce software to supplant underperforming data sets has reached fruition. Now, the focus shifts to transforming the accumulated observations into a fully functional software solution. Andromeda's current priority is to assess all observations, re-evaluate our objectives, considering the implications of AI and digitization, and delineate a clear focus and direction. This strategic approach aims to develop software that not only holds commercial value but also establishes a monopoly within the industry. We can affirm the successful completion of the initial phase of our software development, which transforms raw data into refined, high-quality data, marking a significant milestone in software development. This achievement is particularly noteworthy as the software addresses various aspects of fraud and tax evasion, showcasing substantial commercial potential. The fundamental key to the success of this project lies in the meticulous selection of team members, considering their diverse experiences and skill sets. The cohesion and collaborative abilities of the team, working together harmoniously, have been instrumental in forming a functional group of individuals, contributing significantly to the project's success. As mentioned earlier, Andromeda arrived at a pivotal juncture where all the observations needed to be translated into software. After careful deliberation, the decision was made to merge with Unique Software Solutions, a company boasting over 45 years of expertise in computational hardware and peripherals at the component level. This strategic move aligns with the objective of harnessing their combined strengths to propel the software development process forward. The initial phase of seeking a solution entailed comprehensive steps such as data harvesting, data reconciliation, individual and company profiling, and making sense of unstructured data. The technology developed through this process holds multiple applications and presents opportunities not only within the UK but also on an international scale. It is imperative to establish that the constructed data is under complete control of the company to ensure security for potential users. The preceding slides present a comprehensive software working diagram, outlining the various stages of the process. Additionally, there is an illustration demonstrating the identification of tax evaders and the potential for debt recovery. In addition to its dedication to software development, Andromeda is committed to utilizing information graphics, visual representations of information, data, and knowledge. This commitment underscores a proactive approach to seeking simple, cost-effective solutions for the complex problems prevalent in the world today. Andromeda envisions that the software capture holds opportunities for all aspects of fraud investigation, catering not only to large organizations but also government departments, including HMRC. The aim is to provide a viable solution that replaces dysfunctional software in these critical areas. The market for participants in the detection and prosecution of fraudsters constitutes a burgeoning industry that is expanding at an alarming rate. Consequently, we anticipate a substantial demand for our product in this dynamic and growing sector. To date, our analysis has not revealed any competitors actively marketing a product similar to ours. Talent hits a target no one else can hit. Genius hits a target no one else can see. The problem is not so much to see what no one else has yet seen as to think what no one else has yet thought, concerning that which nobody sees. It's not that I am smart, it's simply I stay with the question longer. brochure, which the film is based, can be downloaded from www.andromedainvestigates.com.